college journalism.
It's Friday morning, so you know what that means. It's time for Friday Live. Good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Albert Sharp, bringing you the inside scoop on today's latest news. And in our first story of the day, a local restaurant is facing a human rights lawsuit after refusing service to a maskless customer. On October 7th, Thai Palace on Lozon Road refused to serve a customer at their takeout window over mask concerns. The restaurant can avoid going to court by paying a $20,000 settlement by 5 p.m. today. However, according to restaurant owner Renu Anderson, they will not be settling as they believe they did nothing wrong.
Don't they have the right to not serve you?
I believe so, and that's what their lawyers are saying. But speaking of small business, if small businesses are the backbone to any city, how are Windsor's small businesses keeping us strong? Tyler Clapp has the story.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, downtown businesses are making an impact. Delna Bihariwala is a co-owner with Trishana Linton of Cookup, Inc. Their business helps female food entrepreneurs. They have continued growing after getting one business started in June.
And then in July, we expanded to 2 booths at the market, so 2 of our businesses. And then 2 weeks after that, we had 3.
Aside from helping others pursue their goals and creating new jobs, other businesses like Easy Mode Esports Lounge are bringing fun and new experiences to people in the downtown area. Co-owner Stephen Chowdy opened Easy Mode in 2019 with Dean Hayes and Matt Dealer-Snyder to make a place for gaming.
So you can come in, you can sit on a couch, play some video games with your friends, while also getting food and drinks at the same time.
So it just shows, even during a pandemic, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tyler Clapp.
And it's not just businesses that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has also brought significant changes to how schooling is delivered. Liam Mauger has a story on how those changes are impacting students.
With coronavirus in effect, colleges have been taking an online-focused approach to schooling. Lambton College in Sarnia, Ontario is one of these schools, and the new protocols mean many college students are starting their experience in an unprecedented way. Classes are mostly online, but students are still required to come in person for certain courses. Kenny Lackey is a first-year electrical distribution student at Lambton College. Lackey says that he does not prefer online schooling.
How do I feel about the future of online schooling? I don't think my program has a future if it is continued to be taught online. You're going to have a whole wave of workers hitting the workforce that don't know what they're doing.
Eli Stout is a second-year criminal law student who dropped out of his course. Stout says this was because online learning is more difficult.
Well, I dropped out pretty early into this year, so I would say I didn't have a whole lot of experience during COVID, but I did through the second half of my first year. But the teachers' involvement with me would be the big one because they're not there, but we still have the same course load.
With some students switching to online after their first year and others starting college for the first time online, many are anxious about what this school year could bring.
Now, as a student, we've got our back-to-school expenses handled, but the holidays are rapidly approaching. Siddharth Krishna has the report on how to save money in this Money Minute.
Hello, my name is Siddharth Krishna and welcome to the Money Minute. Today I'll tell you how to save money as a student. Keep your habits in check. If you're not aware of the toll your habits take on you, you might have to pay a hefty price, literally. For example, if you're a chain smoker, you'll be spending about $264 annually. Not so infinitesimal now, is it? Resist the temptation to eat out. Learn to cook your own meals. Although there's nothing more alluring than a convenient restaurant takeaway after a long day at work, those can be quite expensive. I recommend buying your groceries in bulk near the end of the week. Plan your spending. There's nothing more detrimental to a student than mindless splurging. Having a set budget for every month or week helps keep your impulses in check. It also helps you prioritize your spendings. Get a job. Unless you're notoriously affluent, you might want to work as a part-time employee. Apart from the financial stability that you attain, you'll also acquire valuable professional know-how. So watch your spending and you might have something left for Christmas. Be wise, Windsor. I'm Sid.
Thank you, Sid. Now moving on, be it rain, snow, sleet, or hail, the weather comes all the same. So now we'll go over to Zach with our weather report. Zach?
Hey everybody, it is starting to feel like October. Currently it is sunny and 4 degrees. Now looking ahead to your weekend. Saturday, it will be mainly sunny and a high of 15. Sunday, there is a chance of showers and a high of 17. Monday, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 13. That is the weather for this Friday. Join me a little later for Dollar Store Bobcat, Florida Man, and Inappropriate Onions on Weird News. That is coming up at the bottom of the show.
It's Friday morning, and today we're talking women's shelters, Windsor music, and weirdness. But first, let's take a look back on some weather history with Zach.
And welcome to This Week in Weather History, where I talk about the most memorable weather events from the past and the ones that you just want to forget. So without further ado, let's dive right on in. Oh, the famous Great Lakes winters, full of teeth-chattering and wind-biting goodness. In fact, this winter was so extreme that this event caused a significant amount of the Great Lakes to be covered in ice. I am talking about the winter of 2014 polar vortex. According to MLive.com, a fast-moving and rotating wind known as the polar vortex slipped from the North Pole and tightened its grip across southern Michigan. This made the air temperature, not wind, just air, feel like minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold enough for you? Just to put that into perspective, minus 5 and minus 6 degrees Fahrenheit is the typical temperature for a freezer. NASA's Global Climate Change reports that ice covered just over 90% of the lakes as a result of the cold. This ice cover even had an impact on the boating industry, where a Coast Guard icebreaker had to break apart thick sheets of ice just to establish a shipping lane and escort 3 lake freighters from Duluth, Minnesota, don't you know. This brutal event also had an impact on the summer, where it was cooler than average across the region surrounding the Great Lakes. I need some warmth. That's it for me. I'm Zach, and this has been Weather History.
And a local women's shelter is looking to raise funds for their 30th anniversary. And Friday Live's very own Tristan Zuderveen talks to Randy Lynn Miller for details in this edition of 3 Minutes With.
Today we are joined by Randy Lynn Miller from the Welcome Center Shelter. She is the 3030 campaign coordinator. First of all, Randy Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about the shelter?
Yes. So the Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families is an agency in Windsor dedicated to providing safe emergency shelter and transitional supports to women and families experiencing or at risk of homelessness in Windsor, Essex. So we provide services including drop-in programming, women-centric food bank, and harm reductive services.
Can you tell us a little bit about the 3030 campaign?
So 3030 is our online peer-to-peer fundraiser with a goal of raising $30,000 in honor of our 30th anniversary. And so all proceeds from this fundraiser will go directly to the funding of our newest initiative called Patsy's Place.
What is Patsy's Place?
So Patsy's Place is an on-site portable classroom that we've already purchased, and this space will act as a multi-use space to serve the children and families that we house right now. So it will include programming such as educational programming for the kids, recreational programming, childcare, counseling and support space for the caregivers, and then also a meeting space for other community agencies to come in and meet with our clients and staff.
Okay, so how can people participate in the fundraiser?
So we're asking our community supporters to donate if they can. Right on our online website, it's a really simple, takes about 30 seconds to
Mark in Windsor music history has fallen into disrepair, but a local group is working to bring it back. Madeline Mazak has the story.
I played on that bench in 1972, and that's quite a few years ago. Things have really changed. It doesn't look as modern and cleaned up as it was back then, but it's not too bad. We came out on stage, it was our turn to play. We came out on stage and there's a microphone stand over here, one right here, and the band's all ready and set up to play. And I go up to the microphone with my hands on my electric guitar, both hands, and I go, "Hey, everybody." And the microphone, it felt like a pair of pliers grabbed my face because I got a shock like you wouldn't believe it. Because I was standing in a puddle of water.
Oh my gosh.
And knocked me back, my eyes were watering, and and then we just played.
but everyone was out here because this was the show that ended the summer.
End of the summer for the people that were here, but the end of the summer for the people playing in the bands too.
Yeah.
We went to school 2 days later.
I decided to go to the local history library to learn more. If the bandshell once meant so much to so many people, why is it forgotten today? On September 2nd, 1972, Scotty and his band, The Galleon, competed in the Battle of the Bands. Thousands of people weathered the storms that night to watch the competition. Labor Day weekend in Windsor back then meant one thing: the Firefighters Field Day, an annual fundraiser for the Firefighters Benefit Fund. A parade down Olette Avenue ended in Jackson Park for a weekend of celebrations, drawing out thousands of people. But the bandshell we see today is not the original. It is the replica of the original bandshell that, ironically, burnt down in a devastating fire alongside Windsor's grandstand in 1957. I wondered if anyone else in Windsor wanted to see the bandshell restored as well.
My name's Sarah Lestage, and I'm heading the group of individuals looking to have the Jackson Park bandshell repurposed. It was covered in different just trash, refuge from the landscaping that was being done in Jackson Park. I really didn't expect the kind of response that I got with over 1,000 likes in just over a month. I also had people reaching out, asking to volunteer, even just to come clean up the space. Ideally, I'd love to see Jackson Park bandshell brought back to life for public and community use. I'm really optimistic to see this happen.
Having worked at Fog Lounge for almost a year now, I've become familiar with Windsor's music scene. I decided to reach out to some musicians to see what they thought.
My name is Zach Vivier. I'm the bass player in Hutch.
I'm Sebastian App. I'm the guitar player and lead vocalist in Hutch.
Robbie Survey, the drummer in Hutch.
Is this thing on?
As a musician, you see like a stage and you just see like a potential like instantly, even if it's like run down, you're just like, you know, a coat of paint and this thing's ready to go. Just get a PA and a coat of paint and you're all set.
Yeah, right? Man, it would be fun, but a little DIY.
Like that park and that area, it's just like screaming for like something cool to happen there. Like, I don't know, like as a band, like it just feels really good to play outside. Like it's kind of like a different feeling and it's really nice. And then like I love watching shows outside. Like we played like the Island Unplugged and everyone has like their own fold-up chairs.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sit around and everyone's having a good time and like something like that could even happen at the bandshell and people would love it. Like growing up, you know, like the older I got, it was like more people just saying that Windsor was like boring and there was nothing to do. And I think we kind of found something to do in the music scene and we're like, oh, like shows are fun and that's something to do. So we never were bored, but like to have a stage and to have like a pretty good like run of events going, I think, you know, people wouldn't really think that anymore. And I think that's why people are excited, is because it's like the potential for something to do.
Yeah, the memories of the stage. I have a few. They're rock and roll show memories. I made a lot of friends. Right here, this is where it starts. You could fit 5,000 people here, and more on the bleachers. There could be 5,000 people viewing an event off the stage.
That would be amazing.
It'd be thrilling.
And finally, What's a Friday Live without its resident weirdo, Zachary Ballog, bringing back weird news.
Hey everybody, I'm back with the weirdest news found on the internet. That's right, it's time for weird news.
Oh boy.
Albert, have you heard of a bobcat walking into a dollar store before?
No, I have not.
Well, that is what happened in a Kentucky dollar store. According to WKRN.com, a bobcat was found wandering the deodorant aisle of a Dollar General, as one does typically.
As one does.
Thankfully, there were no injuries to customers, the employees, or the bobcat for that matter. However, it was escorted back into the wild. The cat should have been wearing a mask. That probably wouldn't have happened. They may have probably allowed him to stay.
You know what? I probably wouldn't have even noticed. I would have thought it was just a normal cat. Because you ever seen a bobcat? They just look like wet cats.
That's what it looked like in the pictures, actually. If you thought the times we are living in or a bobcat wandering around a Dollar General was weird, clearly you haven't been to Florida. That's right. It's time for
Florida Man does whatever a Florida man can. Look out, here comes the Florida Man.
A Florida man is in hot water after sending his 11-year-old son to school wearing a Hooters mask.
A Hooters mask?
A Hooters mask.
On a child.
On a child. And it's parenting at its finest, wouldn't you say, Albert?
I don't know if I would say that.
A Global.ca reports that Steve Golba's son was forced to switch his mask by his school in Windermere, Florida, after the boy's teacher flagged the mask as inappropriate. One more thing. Where can I find one?
I have no idea, and I'm not going to help you look.
All right, moving on. Hey, Albert, do you find anything sexy about onions?
No, not at all.
Well, Facebook sure did. An ad featuring onions posted by a Newfoundland store manager got flagged as inappropriate. The BBC reports that a seed company by EW in St. John's, Newfoundland, had wanted to post a seemingly innocent advert for Walla Walla onion seeds on Facebook. The ad was flagged by Facebook, which showed the onions piled in a wicker basket with some sliced onions as well. It took the manager a minute and realized that the way they were placed could have resembled breasts or buttocks.
They're just onions.
Exactly. They're just onions. There are worse kinds of fruit. Onions being inappropriate? Who knew? Well, that is the weirdness for this week, folks. Oh, weird fact, a mask is like a Speedo for your face. Thanks for listening, and as usual, you cannot make this stuff up.
And that's our show for the week. Friday Live is a student-run radio production here at St. Clair College that wouldn't be possible without this week's contributions from Leah Mauger, Tyler Clapp, Zachary Ballog, Madeline Mazak, Tristan Zuderine, and I've been your host, Albert Sharp. Have an excellent weekend, everyone.